同志们，好，同志们，我们都在轰轰烈烈的，站起来，站起来。Welcome to the 296th edition of China Now with your gang of two, Nan Su, who is the senior investigative reporter for Epoch Times, and yours truly, Michael Olson, who long ago was dissuaded from becoming a China hand by the great helmsman himself, Mao Zedong. Each week, Nansu and I look out across the broad expanse of the Pacific Ocean from our home port here at SantaCruzVoice.com, and we ask, China now, friend or foe, war or peace? Ni hao, Nansu.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are.
And Nansu, we are everywhere because we are streaming on the internet and we can be everywhere. Nansu, I think we should probably start off today by talking about the current hotspot, which has been the hotspot for quite some time now. Goodness sakes, what, almost 8 months? How long have we been
Uh,
rumbling over
five
it?
uh 5 months,
Five
almost five
months.
months. Yeah.
So we've been shooting it up for 5 months in Iran. And just like that, right in the middle of a little ceasefire, Iran shoots a bunch of rockets over toward Jordan, aimed at the American service people over there. All of the rockets were shot down, but it was a very interesting. Trump called it a surprise attack. Now, Nancy, I wonder who the heck gave the order to attack in the middle of a ceasefire?
Well, I think we can trust the Iranian regime, whatever they say, right? They want to talk, we give them talk, and then they start shooting again. Now, keep in mind, they start uh attacking, making attacks just less about 24 hours after the ceasefire, 60 days ceasefire was signed at the 14 points MOU. Remember we talked about that? And
Memo of understanding.
yeah, and then we thought that the MOU was pretty good to the United States. It's to Americans' advantage, um, and the way that they start shooting just less than 24 hours after the MOU, the 14 points MOU was signed, it was a strong signal that they realize uh, that MOU was signed, uh, very much to the advantage of United States. So that's how all these things all start break loose after that. So I think that's just the continuation of the provocative behavior uh, and especially I don't think they want the coming months to be smooth.
Right, because we're going into the election, and
That's right.
the
It's
Iranian
yeah.
people do not want Donald Trump to be in power, so they can do what they can to get the Democrats in, so that they will stifle Trump with a
So,
bunch
well,
of assassination.
they will have easier days in the next 2 years,
Yeah,
right? So I think that's the way it is. And then especially, you think about less than it's about 6 weeks. Within 6 weeks, some of the states will start, the mail ballots will still be sent out. Uh, I mean, the voters will be sent out by the voters actually. Some of there are 10 states, their mail ballots like 45 to 50 days, they already send them out.
so
So
here we
meaning,
go.
yeah, so that's like 45 to 50 days prior to the election day. So that just basically go back to the middle of September. And middle of September is just about 6 weeks from now. So I think they will not want this era to be peaceful, and they don't want to see the oil price keep dropping. That's why they're doing all that.
Yeah. It's interesting to watch Trump's reactions as we go through this ongoing cycle of peace talks and shoot 'em ups. It seems as though uh, Trump really does want to have a ceasefire, and it seems like he really is trying to respond to that segment of the Iranian power structure that is pleading for him to stop shooting us up. Please quit shooting us up, blowing our things up. But there is a segment of the power structure that says, go ahead and shoot us up because we can outlast this and you can't outlast us.
Well, I think it's clear, the bottom line here is the re Iranian regime that realized that we're not going to put boots on the ground. Yeah, we may put the boots on the ground, but it's a quick in and out. It's not going to be there for a long time. So they realize that. So that's why at the bottom that's why they dare to do all these because as long as Americans do not do Iraqi invasion style, that kind of like all out uh,
Norman Schwarzkopf to the rescue.
right, so it all out that the full blown scale military invasion, put the boots on the ground, take over the country. As long as we're not going to do that, I think they basically have the choice of shooting all the neighboring countries in the Middle East, and there's actually yesterday there was a Egyptian tanker was attacked in the Mediterranean Sea, actually.
Oh, wow.
Nobody claimed the responsibility, so but possibly still either Iranian regime or one of its proxies did that. So you can kind of like you now you have things going on in Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea and Bab Mandake Strait and the Gulf of Aden. So you gotta like you see that they really try to escalate the situation in the Middle East. It's all just because of the quickly approaching midterm
Election.
election.
There it is. So, I, yeah, I hate to say it, but it sounds like they figured out how to split our country in two and pit one side against the other.
Well, I think the important thing here it's how to get the oil out of Middle East, right? Now, keep in
Yeah.
mind, right now the U.S. military already figured out a way to get all these ships out of the Persian Gulf, going through the Strait of Hormuz,
On the Omani side.
yeah, from the amount side, right? And I think that's a great success as long as they keep doing that. It wouldn't be a huge issue. The oil price, in the American market, I think it's like 84, 85 today, even though there was a shooting that broke out last night. So I think, you know, if if it drop more, it's better, But however, still there's a lot of challenges ahead of us because the oil reserve all around the world are pretty low right now.
Yeah. So we are truly engaged in a struggle with Iran, but also I think we are engaged in a struggle with China. There's a report out of Reuters that claims China is selling Iran 400 to 700 rockets, manpads, which are shoulder-fired anti-aircraft rockets. In spite of Xi Jinping's promise to Donald Trump that he wouldn't do that. Now, whether this Reuters report is true or not, Trump says no, Xi Jinping would not do that. But it seems like China is doing everything it can to support the hot wars going on in Iran and in the Ukraine. And it's doing a great job of depleting America's defensive rocket force, with all of the rockets being shot at us, we're using a lot of defensive rockets to prevent them from hitting, as we were successful in doing in Jordan. None of the rockets that the Iranian IRGC sent to Jordan reached their destination. So we've been very good at using our rockets to prevent their rockets from hurting us, but we're depleting our rockets quite rapidly. And so to see where China might be selling 400 manpads to Iran, which are defensive rockets that Iranians could use to shoot at American aircraft. Um, so how do we deal with China?
Well, I think that China clearly don't want to see Iranian regime to fall, right? Now, think about it. This is the shoulder carry anti aircraft air defense missile system. That's exactly what the Iranian regime needs right now, because now taking into consideration the United States military is not going to do a full-blown put boots on the ground invasion, then the dangerous thing that facing the Iranian regime is the U.S. military do like a surgical military action, that like small operation in and out, quickly in and out. Although that's good,
Helicopters,
yeah, to maybe nuclear facilities, maybe the pickaxe
Pickaxe Mountain.
pickaxe mountain, maybe, right? And or maybe some of the places, if the United States government have intelligence where their scientists have been hiding over there, or maybe their military commanding compound or Iranian regime leaders hiding places. If they have those information together, and if the air bombing, that cannot achieve its goal, then it's going to be either airborne or helicopter borne, right? That kind of operation. Now, if your U.S. military decide to do those operation, then all these shoulder carry anti-aircraft carry missile system will be most effective, right? So it probably can, this kind of system probably can reach to the height of somewhere 3 to 4,000 kilometers,
Oh,
and if we do airborne, that's like most likely about somewhere 1,500 to 2,000 kilometers. That's the fly height. And then if to the air
not sure if they're that high.
helicopter, that's even lower.
Yeah. Well, when it gets right down to it, an incursion with troops would require helicopters, and you're looking at a couple thousand feet at most.
Yeah, yeah.
These
Well,
helicopters,
if it's a helicopter, it's even lower.
yeah,
Right? The if it's airborne, by parachuting, that's like a probably couple thousand feet,
yeah,
about a couple thousand meters the most.
yeah.
Usually you got like somewhere between, even much lower, like 600 meters to
So if
2,000 meters. So
so if China is indeed sending in 400 to 700 man pads,
yeah,
it would
that's
be
if yeah, if
anticipating that incursion, probably.
right, right. So that's to help the Iranian regime to stabilize itself.
Yeah. So there it is. And then we turn to what the heck can we do about this? Trump is, while he was at the casket ceremony for the return bodies of the slain servicemen, he was having a meeting with his Secretary of Defense and his general, but they brought in Admiral Brad Cooper, who is running the war essentially from CENTCOM in Florida. And Cooper has a plan that he put together for a 2 week attack plan that he suggests would really lay Iran low. Now, it's a big deal plan. We're currently running our usual bombing incursions, but what Cooper is suggesting is something really big. And you and I have talked about the need to seal off Iran from its support. And we talked about how, what we need to do is take out all the bridges and the highways and the railroads and shut off the seaport so that literally starve Iran out. Now, the problem with that is I think the civil authorities, if there are any in Iran, would deeply regret something like that. But I don't think the IRGC would care.
Well, I don't think
I don't.
IRGC will and never care, right? They won't. They're not gonna care because all they care it's about all these all about their crazy ideological, extreme religious idea. But that's what they carry. All they care about. So, and that's one thing. And the second thing is, of course, they are deeply afraid of losing power. Once they lose power, they got too much blood in their hands, right? The Iranian people's blood in their own hands, so they're worried about that. I think that the attack to the railroad from China and attack to the ports at the Caspian Sea, which will connect to the support and supply chain from Russia. That I think those are very important. So if those targets can be included in the next wave of military operation and bombing schedule, that would be greatly weakened. Um,
My guess is that's what Admiral
and
Cooper is
right,
thinking.
I think there is one more thing we can do, but that probably needs some support from our allies. It's to ban, the entire airspace of Iran from flying. So basically, nobody can go in. So we're going to just say we're going to block out the whole space sky uh, uh, in the Iran. Nobody can go in and nobody can go out. So see how that goes.
We've often talked about the similarities between the IRGC and the Chinese Communist Party in that they're not part of the country. They are organizations that have taken over their country and act as kind of the administrators of a prison. So these organizations really don't care about the people of their country, nor what the people want or desire or how they want to live or anything. All they care about is keeping control of those countries. And so that if we were to completely seal off Iran to the extent that nothing could get in or out, there would be a lot of deprivation that would really upset the world to see, but it would not affect how what the IRGC thinks about stopping anything. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep going, just like the CCP will keep going, because if it stops, it ends.
Yep, that's it. They don't just they actually just don't care.
So one more parenthetical thought before we move on to other issues, non-Suez. I got to thinking, did we make a big mistake by taking out Iraq? instead of Iran when
Then
we
again, I don't follow you.
um when we took on Saddam Hussein. Did we take on the wrong country there? It's because Saddam was fighting the IRGC forever, and they were going back and forth and back and forth. And somehow we took on him instead of Iran. And I was just wondering, did we take on the wrong one?
Well, I think that I think dealing with Saddam Hussein is actually a easier target than dealing with Iranian regime. They have been in war against the American for what 47, 48 years. So we
Yes.
start we should put the Iranian regime as our enemy ever since the very beginning.
And that's why I'm wondering if instead of taking on Iraq, we should have taken on Iran. We should have supported them in their.
Well, the whole thing was going going to Iran. It's really because what? It's because 9/11, right? So at that time, for whatever it was, we have intelligence basically pointing to Iraq. I don't know what happened on that, just
Well, it's just just a thought.
weapon of mass destruction, WM and WND, right?
Right.
We still remember that's just 2003. I remember that was that day.
Weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, it's exactly what we're accusing Iran of right now.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I heard the news. That was the day I heard the news just right before San Jose Human Rights Commission's meeting started. That was the day actually that I was in the San Jose Human Rights Commission's meeting, try to ask their support to save Dr. Charles Lee, who was jailed and arrested, American citizen, jailed and arrested in China, and then we try to have some support from the local government level to try to save him. Uh, that was the day, and then then this everything just went south because this whole anti-terrorism war actually end up that U.S. government wanted support from China, and then China said, "Oh, sure, we're gonna help you to anti-terrorists." So they went back, they start crack down the Uyghurs. It was just everything just went south basically.
Well, and everything does go the way the CCP wants it to go because they're playing by their rules only. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back from this coming break, we're going to talk about Nansu has a great story about how the CCP is paying our mainstream journalists to play along with the CCP. Do stay tuned. This is China Now with Nansu, Michael Olson, and you. We will be right back.
Satisfy your hunger with a fresh, prepared, twice daily grab-and-go sushi you'll find waiting for you at Sushi Market Sprouts, 2 blocks from the beach at 300 7th Avenue in Santa Cruz. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
Hello, I'm Junko, and I look forward to serving you at the Sushi Market Sprouts.
Satisfy your hunger right now with the delicious ramen and sushi you'll find waiting for you at Kaito. Easy in and out location in the Capitola Mall food court. Special orders welcome. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
This is Koji. I'm looking forward to seeing you at my restaurant, Kaito.
California goes to the fertile valleys inland. Earthwise land service is your land's best friend. Earthwise can clear it, mulch it, move it, sculpt it, grade it, drain it, retain it, any way you choose. Earthwise land service is your land's best friend.
Hi, I'm Carolyn, and I have some property behind my home at Larkin Valley that I've never seen. It was completely overgrown with brush and poison oak, well over 10 feet high. I wanted to have it cleared to protect my horses from wildfires, but nobody could do the job. Then I called Buck at Earthwise. Buck brought out his big brush eating machine and turned all the brush and poison oak into mulch. It was truly transformational. Thanks to Earthwise, my property is now like a park and I can trail ride my horses.
Earthwise Land Services, your land.
There is more than one way to enjoy the benefits of cannabis. Hi, I'm Carly from Treehouse Dispensary, 3651 SoCal Drive, SoCal. With tinctures, Treehouse tinctures are available in many different flavors, are rapid acting and versatile, and offer precise dosage control for consistent enjoyment. Treehouse has a friendly staff to help you select the right tincture for your needs. Blue raspberry, anyone? Stop by and say hi. Treehouse Dispensary, 3651 SoCal Drive, SoCal. Or
ourtreehouse.io.
Welcome back. This is China Now. Woman way the light up. Woman should. Nansu, Michael Olson, China Now. Nansu, quick question. If the Chinese United Front organization were to offer the co-host of China Now, a free trip to China to have a look around, do you think the host of China Now should accept that free invitation?
Of course not. I'm not going. Uh, I'm going there. I'll be in jail, basically. That was it.
I'm sure they would find a good excuse to throw me in the clink too, because which is the nature of things. Well, we have a report that's very interesting about our mainstream journalists. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a report that written by that what was the
Natalie Winters.
yeah. He recently published a report that basically said that there's a lot of American journalists from including what the New York Times,
Oh, the list is
Watch, yeah,
incredible. New York
yeah.
Times, Washington Post, Politico, The New Yorker, The Atlantic, NPR, PBS, WNYC, Newsweek, Time, Foreign Affairs, USA Today, and Financial Times.
Atlanta, the Atlantic, right? There's also
Yeah, the Atlantic.
the Atlantic, right?
Yeah, it's in there as well.
So all these they have been invited to visit China, but now the timing was like very early, like starting from 2006, from 2006, and that probably lasting for what I don't know how long it lasts. Probably I don't know. The article didn't say uh the how lasting how long, but it says basically the report identified 26 prominent American journalists visit, one, and then something happened strange after they all visit China. The report, it was from 2006 to 2014, I believe. That was the time that all
Yeah,
this.
let's see, 206
They
to
have
2014.
2014,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then all these journalists, after they came back from China, then they start all of a sudden start saying good things about China. And one thing they have in common, it's like a David Brooks, right? David Brooks of New York Times.
Yeah.
Uh, he's when Trump started proposed tariffs on goods from China, he basically wrote the single worst policy idea on the table before us. That was the Trump's tariffs policy on China. And Eugene Robinson, that's the Washington Post. It says the tariffs is the ill-advised gambit. Um, David Ignatius.
Yes, yes, yeah.
I think he's also from the Washington Post.
He is.
And then he said that warned American was dramatically overestimating China's capabilities. So basically, he said China is not a big deal, and China, we can let China do whatever they want, right?
It kind of echoes President um, what's his butt? Famous saying, "What are you worried about those Chinese people for?" Biden said that. What
They're
are
not going to
you
take
worried
our
about?
lunch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
not
not going to eat our lunch.
lunch.
Now, there was another one, John Gapper. I think he works for the Financial Times, and he went to China in 2010. So he later defended allowing Chinese funded fast fashion giant Shein. Shein, right? Shein, and what was the another one? The chip thing. uh that's basically selling the things, mail order, selling the things to America.
Oh
uh,
yeah.
One is Shein, another one is
I just read where one of them got busted by the uh, Federal Trade Commission. I think they're up against.
after Trump increased the tariffs on all the mail orders, right? It dramatically decreased. Now, John Gapper, he was defending in in UK that and he basically defend allowing Shein to list in London despite intense scrutiny of its supply chains and governance, right?
Mhm.
um, uh, he basically said there is no reason to bar it from London. Basically, bar Shein, right? Um, Now, I think they all change, and most interesting part here is all these media people, how the CCP reach them. Based on the report, CCP, it's a CCP's United Front work department's work, right? The United
And
Front.
once again, let's talk about what the United Front is.
Yeah, the United Front work department, it's one of the three biggest department under the CCP frame, all right? The power frame. Now, one is propaganda, one is organization department, another one is United Front Work Department, basically. Ever since the very beginning in the 1930s.
And the
So
United Front's objective is,
it's to reach out to build alliance with the people who are either with common interest with the CCP or with the common enemy with the CCP. Such as Iran. Iranian regime basically build alliance with China um, because they have a common enemy, which is United States, right? Um,
so
so
the United Front is sponsoring all of these journalists to go
No,
to China.
well, they did not reach these journalists directly, but
Ah,
they go around based on the report. They reach these journalists through an organization called C100. And C100, it's basically it's a exclusive organization that by you can only join by invitation. It's a bunch of very successful Chinese Americans. Well, they're all Chinese Americans. They are all American citizens. Okay, like they are those successful Chinese Americans. They make it maybe the Olympic medalist, maybe the famous Chinese American business people, or maybe Chinese American artist, musician, all these organization. Now, in back in 2020, I think Time Magazine actually, I think some Newsweek, I think it was Newsweek back in 2020 actually had an article says basically uh, C100, basically that's like 100 most famous Chinese Americans. That's what it is. C China 100, right? So that the C100, I was identified by Newsweek back in 2020 as one of the 600 groups in the United States that infiltrated by the CCP's United Front Work Department. Now that the C100 actually had an open statement, basically say they are all Chinese Americans, they are American citizens, they have great contribution to Americans' prosperity, which is that part is true, but the problem is, see, the fact is, all these journalists that was actually invited by this C100 group to go to China. Not the CCP directly invited all these journalists. It was the C100. C100, work with um, that based on this report, the C100 closely work with the CCP. So they set up the chip. And they actually have all these chips very expensive, um, and then cost a lot of money by C100, paid by C100. The CCP has been, they're smart, right? So that's why I say, when we talk about CCP, always treat them as the smartest evil on earth. Don't think, never trying to think they're stupid and dumb, right? So the way they work, they reach out. The CCP reach out to the uh, we reach out to these American famous journalists is they through all the organization like C100. This is the organization for by most successful Chinese American citizens.
Mhm.
And then, so, you think about what media is. Media, they are all about chasing the stars, right? They are chasing the star all the time. That's what their report it's about. They always chasing the star and making the star. That's all they work. So they have zero, pretty much lowest
Loyal.
immunity
Loyal.
when it comes to all these famous stars of inviting them to go to China to visit, right?
Giving them a sense of great self-importance.
That's right. So they will love this kind of invitation. They look at, oh, these organizations are so safe. They are Chinese American, successful elites. They are trying to. Now this is like we talk about the unrestricted warfare. A part of
Yes,
the unrestricted warfare is
that's exactly what it is.
catching the elites, right? But they're doing
Elite
it.
capture.
Yeah, yeah. So they doing in a very smart way. They go around. So if think about it, if the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, they send their invitation directly from Beijing to this American journalist,
Dear
most of them
David
may
Brooks,
not even
come over
go.
and yeah. Dear
Yeah,
David
most
Brooks.
of them may not even go, right? So now they go around, they have the most famous Chinese American organization that send out that invitation. It's
Giving
like a
giving
small,
the giving the journalist plausible deniability.
right.
Oh, it wasn't the CCP that invited me. It was the C100. They're all good people. They're all American citizens. So there's nothing wrong with me taking their money and going over to China to admire the CCP.
Right. Now based on this report, what they after they went to China, they met with like a high level Chinese the CCP officials. Like the vice foreign minister Chai Tiankai at that time. Um, so they had a dialogue with them, and then they had a dialogue. They live in they had a banquet in the People's Hall. Remember,
Ooh.
yeah, People's Hall is the most famous meeting space in China. It's like the People's Congress held their meetings, right? So they have, and it's also the place that Xi Jinping had, had this reception to U.S. president, to Russian president. They have this bank. They visit those places, have meals, and then they also have a direct dialogue with Chinese academics. Of course, those are all the pro CCP Chinese academics in China. And then what I found interesting that it was the report also says after these people coming back to the United States after they visited China, they start building their own direct relation with their so-called their internal source in China.
I have my friends that I met on the trip. Yes.
Yeah, so now think about how they get their idea about China
Yeah.
from CCP. This is the
Correctly.
whole
Yeah.
this is the horrible things that it could ever happen to American journalists, and
Well,
it just happened.
you know, as I look at the publications and the journalists mentioned in this article, and incidentally, the article can be found at nataliewinters.substack.com. nataliewinters.substack.com. As I look at the list, Nansu, I see every single publication, every single journalist mentioned represent one side of America's political spectrum.
Except the Epoch Times, okay?
Well, the Epoch Times wasn't invited.
Of course not. They never invite us.
Well, that's what I'm suggesting. Every single publication, every single journalist invited and feted in China was a bona fide card carrying representative of the liberal position on the American political spectrum. No conservatives were invited to participate. Now, it seems like if there is an objective, a hidden objective here, the objective would be to do what you can to split the American electorate into two and divide and conquer. Because when you invite all of one side to and not the other side, clearly the objective is to divide and conquer.
And
So
also, and I remember we started doing shows about the opinions on China back in what 20 was it 2020 or 2021? Remember?
yeah,
Yeah, we started doing the shows at that time. That's like 5, 6 years ago. Um, I don't know if you still remember that at that time, 5, 6 years ago, you're it was extremely difficult for you to find even one article, a week or two articles a week talk about negative things on China. It was just extremely difficult. There's nobody talk about except the Epoch Times pretty much.
yeah.
There's nobody actually talk about negative things on China. We probably when we started the show, 5, 6 years ago, you find a one or two. You're lucky. I mean, sometimes you are even
You
lucky
really had to
able to
dig.
find one articles that's negative on China. But now it's just a lot of all different kind of articles coming from. You don't even know where they're from, but all of a sudden they have the report on which is negative on China. So the entire news landscape have been changed on China.
And are more receptive to reporting both sides of the issue. And with this thing ended way back in 2017, this program here. No, 2014.
Well,
So
the report basically the latest event listed by the report was 2014, but I'm not sure if that was the latest time that actually the program ended. Now they started at like a 2006. Now that was the time. Remember, that was the high time for China. Uh,
That was the peak of panda love.
Japan the Love, and that's also the time there was another Chinese program that started very infamous. That was the Thousand Talents Plan. That's also
Oh.
starting, and that was the year.
Now that you brought out the 1,000 talents, you have to tell us what it is.
Well, Thousand Talents Plan is to catch the American talents, right? That
Elite capture.
Yeah, yeah, it's a part of the elite capture part program that is a part of the unrestricted warfare, right? So that it's through those programs they catch thousands of successful businessmen, scientists, top level engineers, uh, that to lure them to go to China, and they don't want these people to actually go back to China. They want these people pe- being caught to work on both China and United States. Like if you are a Harvard professor, what they want is they
Want
want
you
you to keep your lab in Harvard, continue working with American funding, and, mostly American taxpayers' money, doing your research, keep doing that in Harvard. And then while at the same time, they want you to set up another lab in China and doing the same program.
so you can go to China and teach what
And
you
then
learned
you
at
basically
Harvard.
China can copy everything all these people do in America, funded by American taxpayers, right? So that's basically the way to steal American technology and most advanced research. That's what they're doing. That's the a thousand talent plan, and one of that. And remember that the CalPERS is a chief investment officer.
Yes.
Yeah, he was that a thousand. That's a part of the 1,000 talent plan. He was hired uh, by the Chinese foreign currency investment bureau. From he was hired, he when he worked in the United States, he was hired back to Beijing, and then he become the deputy chief investment officer of Chinese foreign currency management bureau. And then he worked there for some time, and then the CalPERS hired him back to the California, become the chief investment officer of CalPERS.
And
So
what did he
therefore,
invest CalPERS money in?
yeah, yeah, he therefore basically invests the billions of CalPERS money into the defense industry in China, right? To help Chinese military. So this is the kind of the program we talk about that also starting back in that time
That
when
time.
they
And
started inviting.
that time was peak panda love. And what do we mean by panda love? This is something that we came up with to designate a time in which we all fell in love with the pandas that Zhou Enlai sent to the United States as a way of opening up a relationship. Here's some teddy bears for you.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
we fell
Well,
in love
that
with the panda.
basically, yeah, you're looking back, U.S. government's China policy is being in the wrong direction. It was set first foot wrong in the wrong place by Henry Kissinger. Um, it was just that was so many years, That's why we have entirely two different kind of models dealing with communist regimes in the world. One model was how we dealt with Soviet Union, and another model is how we dealt with China. So basically, it's sharp contrast. How we dealt with Soviet Union, it was the Cold War style. So we run their economy to the ground by the Star War, right? And
Right?
then China, we just gave them tons of
We
money.
did the opposite.
Yeah, we try to bribe them for change. We
Yes,
bribe the CCP for change. It
we
never worked that
we
way.
sent
Just
them
like we
hundreds of
bribe.
billions of dollars
Yeah,
to be
it's
nice to.
also it's like it's hundreds of billions of
Mhm.
dollars, not from United States. That's from United States only. From you look at the entire world, a free world. We have invested hundreds of billions of dollars to China, and the same way we try to bribe the changes in Iran, right? So it never work. We just need to learn
Yes,
the
and
lesson.
we did exactly that in Iran when President Obama sent plane loads of $100 bills. Please,
Yeah.
let's
It
just
never
be
worked.
nice to us.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah.
And in being nice over the years, we essentially gave China all of our industry.
That's the worst nightmare that could ever happen to the United States. That it's going to take a long, I don't know, generation to
To
bring the
bring back
industry
our
back,
industry.
because it's very hard. It's very hard for a country to become industrialized, and but we took it for granted because we were born in an industrialized nation. We grew up and spent our whole life in the industrialized nation that we totally forgot how
And the
to.
rest of the world had pretty much been deindustrialized by World Wars One and Two. There wasn't
Well,
much left elsewhere. And
Well,
so,
no, see, well, the whole world only have like 25 countries became industrialized prior to World War II, right? Now, after World War II, from 1945 to 2000, whole 55 years, only four nations became industrialized. That's like South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, and Israel. But then we basically not only in the past quarter century, we not only industrialized China to make China probably the biggest manufacturer in the world, we also deindustrialized the United States. Now it's probably going to take, lucky we still have our airlines, like the people from Taiwan to help us to learn how to
and,
build semiconductor chips, and then people from South Korea to help us to rebuild our shipbuilding industry, and Japan come help us to rebuild many of our nuclear energy power plants. So we still have those,
we
yeah,
still
but
have
it's very
friends.
hard because you're talking about relocate a whole supply chain, things that pass down from generations, one generation to another generation. You have a couple generations don't do this thing,
And you
you
lose it.
lost. You lose it, right?
Well, with that, we're going to take a top of the hour break. When we come back after the news and whatnot, we have some great stories about how China finds a way to get the Medius oil, how floods are submerging homes. Why does China always get flooded? How the CIA obtained secret information about the Wuhan lab, and Fauci's diary shows all. Do stay tuned. We will be back shortly.